How to prevent hair loss. There are a lot of potential reasons that people lose hair, but unfortunately, it's usually genetic. If your body is going to lose all of its hair naturally, there isn't much you can do outside of getting a hair transplant. However, there are actually a ton of ways that we often damage our hair without even realizing it, and you may be able to curb the rate at which you lose your hair depending on why it's falling out. In some instances, you may even be able to prevent the hair loss entirely. 1. Skip the tight ponytails or braids. Tight hairstyles put stress on your hair that can cause it to fall out. While the occasional ponytail probably isn't going to do any serious damage, tying your hair back every day or keeping it tightly braided will certainly lead to hair loss over time. Opt for looser hairstyles whenever possible, and avoid tying your elastic bands too tightly. You won't see the benefits today, but your hair will thank you in the future. If you're noticing the hair in the front of your head is thinning or falling out, and you often braid your hair or wear tight ponytails or pigtails, this is probably the main source of your problem. 2. Minimize your hair's exposure to heat. High heat can wear your hair down and weaken it enough to fall out. Heat strips your hair of the proteins that keep it strong. Over time, constant heating can turn hair brittle, which may cause hair loss that would not have occurred otherwise. Avoid using a flat iron whenever possible, use the coolest setting on your hair dryer, and skip the sauna if your hair is a little thin. If you need the heat on the hair dryer, keep it at least 8 inches 20 centimeters away from your hair and move it constantly to keep heat from building up. Using hot rollers or getting a perm is uniquely bad when it comes to hair loss since it combines high levels of heat with hair pulling. 3. Avoid hair dyes and color treatments. These products put a lot of stress on your hair and scalp. If you want the best shot at a full head of hair later on, keep your natural hair color. There are some wacky ingredients in certain hair dyes and coloring formulas, and it's hard to know how your hair will react to a given product or ingredient. There have even been cases where people have experienced massive and immediate hair loss due to an allergy to an ingredient, so skip the dye jobs if you can. If you have a professional stylist putting highlights in every year or so, it's probably not a big deal. But frequent use of hair coloring chemicals increases the chances that you accidentally do some serious damage. Bleaching is especially harmful for your hair, since it strips the nutrients in your hair and scalp. If you do dye your hair, either skip the bleach or choose a color that doesn't require it in the first place. 4. Relax in your spare time. Stress can have a huge impact on your hair, so self-care is a must. This is one of those stereotypes that has some truth to it. If you're under a lot of stress, your hair can fall out. It's especially problematic if you're under stress every day. If you're having a hard time at school or work, set aside time when you get home to do something you enjoy. Take a bath, read a good book, or pursue something you're passionate about. The more stress you can relieve, the slower your hair will fall out. The other problem with stress and hair loss is that it's a compounding problem. You lose hair when you're stressed, and realizing that your hair is falling out can make you even more stressed. Emotional distress will also cause hair loss. If you are dealing with depression or some other kind of mood disorder, getting some help should relieve the hair loss. 5. Get more sleep. Not getting enough rest might make your hair fall out faster. If you aren't sleeping at least 8 hours a night, your hair is going to be more likely to fall out earlier than it otherwise would. It's unclear how closely sleep and hair loss are related, but it looks like the stress you put on your body by not getting enough shut-eye leads to hair loss. Sleep hygiene also plays a big role in this. Aim to go to bed and wake up at the same time, keep the temperature cool at night, and make sleep a priority. 6. Eat a healthy, balanced diet. If you aren't getting the nutrients you need, it can lead to hair loss. There are a ton of different minerals and nutrients that keep your hair strong. However, you can normally get everything you need from eating healthily. Unless you have an underlying medical condition causing a deficiency, eating a balanced diet should keep the hair on your head happy and strong. 7. Curb your alcohol consumption. Heavy alcohol use will cause hair to fall out over time. It's unclear why heavy drinkers tend to lose hair. It could be that alcohol throws your hormones out of whack, or it may simply be that heavy drinkers tend to engage in behaviors that lead to hair loss. Regardless of the reason, there's some solid evidence that cutting back on the alcohol will keep your hair from falling out if you're a heavy drinker. A glass of wine with dinner is totally fine, but if you're polishing off a six-pack every night, it's going to do damage to your hair. Hair loss is one of the big side effects of long-term alcohol abuse and liver disease. 8. Stop smoking. Aside from the fact that it's bad for you, smoking can harm your hair. It appears that smokers tend to experience more frontal hair loss than non-smokers, so putting the butts down may help your hairline recover over time. If you're an active smoker, talk to your doctor about quitting or try nicotine replacement therapy. The hair loss from smoking appears to be less dramatic than the hair loss from heavy alcohol use. However, drinking too much and smoking are both bad for you, so quitting is still going to be a smart move. 9. Userogaine to slow the rate of hair loss. If you are starting to lose hair, Rogaine can help curb future hair loss. There isn't much you can do about hereditary hair loss. However, if you start using minoxidil Rogaine once the hereditary hair loss starts, you can put a serious dent in its future progression. It's pretty easy to use, too. You typically just apply it directly to your scalp and leave it in for 2 to 4 hours. Rogaine is over the counter these days, but your doctor may be able to prescribe you a stronger formula if you check with them first. While it's mainly marketed towards men, women can use Rogaine as well. 10. Skip the holistic and vitamin supplements. You probably won't prevent hair loss by taking supplements if you're healthy. Vitamins and minerals absolutely contribute to the strength and growth of your hair. However, if you don't have any kind of medically proven deficiency, you aren't going to have much luck. There are no over-the-counter vitamins, minerals, or holistic remedies that are proven to keep your hair from falling out. On top of that, the ones that might work probably aren't going to have any noticeable impact. If you are worried you have some kind of nutritional deficiency, see a doctor. They'll test your blood to see if your hormone and vitamin levels indicate you need a supplement.